we good? Oh, shoot. I've done something bad.
All right.
That's me. We're little top bunk action there.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
You want to start with a statement, or you want questions? How you want to do this?
Do you want to do a statement? Go ahead.
If you have anything you want to say, feel free.
Probably not really. Probably not real important. But
We'll do some questions.
Yeah, day 2 today. I thought it was another good day. Our guys were flying around. I think you guys could see that when you got to watch practice. Day 2 install. Kind of when you start practice, you're going through installs early on. You're not really scheming or anything. You're just kind of trying to make the calls, execute, do things the right way. And our guys did a nice job of that. Some mistakes, lots of things to clean up, obviously, but I think we made a lot of progress. And then tomorrow or Thursday we'll have day 3, which will be somewhat of another install, and then obviously take off for spring break and regroup and see where we are. But really love our guys' energy and attitude, body language. It's outstanding. Those guys are very coachable, have a coach me coach attitude, which is something we talk about a lot. We ask them to run on and off the field. They're doing that. We ask them to get lined up fast. Even if we're not going fast, they do that. Lock in, doing those things that you want them to do, and really practice with a purpose. And I think that's the improvements that we've made over 2 days. Not perfect, got a long ways to go and a lot of things to clean up, but really, really pleased with the first couple of days. All right, questions?
With Drake May, I mean, is there something that maybe has surprised you about him? What's it been like working with him?
Yeah.
I mean, you heard of this guy, this Heisman candidate last year. Now you got 2 days under the belt with him.
I think the thing, first of all, about him as a person that sticks out to me, he's just he's kind of an all shucks, just kind of humble guy. He doesn't come across as the guy that people see all over the country, who, in my opinion, is one of the better ones in the country. And he's very humble, he's very hard on himself, which is good. Maybe sometimes too hard on himself, but I think he's earned the respect of his teammates, not just because of how well he played last year, but I think also because of the way he approaches it every day. And I think that's what makes those guys like him special, and been really pleased with that. On the field, very, very attentive, wants to be coached. For a guy that's as talented as he is, he wants to be coached on the little details, the fundamentals, whether it's footwork, whether it's what drop we need to take, whether it's communication, how can I do this better, whatever it is. And that's really something that's really refreshing when you got guys that are really talented who also want to be coached.
How much are you balancing your coaching philosophy and mixing it together with the talent that he's bringing on the field, especially with the success he had in his first year? How are you balancing how much you want to offer, but at the same time maybe pull back some of your philosophy so he can keep that same type of momentum?
Well, I think my philosophy is build the offense around our best players. He is one of our best players, obviously. So we're going to do the things that he likes and does well. It's not really that hard to figure out. I think there are things that we're going to do that are very, very similar to what they've been doing here for 4 years. I think there are other things that we're going to try to do that hopefully will maybe help us even more. That may be a little different wrinkle, a little different look. But I know Drake's excited about that, as well as the offensive guys, and they've responded really well. But at the end of the day, it's about creating explosive plays. That's what we do. We got to figure out how to get our best players the ball in space and eliminate negatives. We can't have TFL sacks and penalties, and that's kind of what our focus is right now.
He said one of his points of emphasis that you're working with him is the footwork. I think you just alluded to it a second ago. What are some of the elements of his footwork that are really good, and maybe what are some that he's focused on that need a little bit of work?
Well, I think our drops are different than what they did last year. Okay, so our approach is a little different from that standpoint. So that's a little new to him. So we're trying to clean it up and get it the way kind of I see that it should be based on the concepts we're throwing. At the same time, if there's things that already work, we're not going to change those things. So I think finding that happy median, because if you watch quarterbacks even in the NFL, whether their left foot's up, right foot's up, whether they pick one of them up first, it doesn't really matter. It's how do they get their feet in the ground and create momentum from the ground up and really be able to transition and throw it accurately. That's the whole key. But we have a plan for that, and to his credit, he's been very coachable and wants to do exactly what we ask and improving, I think, every day.
What advantage did you take from being here during the bowl? And was there anything that kind of helped you get off to a quicker start?
Well, the biggest advantage, I just was able to learn, put names with faces on offense. Now, I can't say that yet with the defense probably, but, it was really good to be able to observe and watch the guys practice and get to know them on a personal level. I was a high school coach for a long time, so to me it's important to get to know these guys on and off the field. They don't really care how much you know until they know you care about them. Kind of thought, that's the way I was born and raised, the way I came up in coaching, and trying to build those relationships so that way when you get on the grass, you can coach them hard and get on them and push them, and they know you care about them.
What does Clyde Christensen bring? Obviously, he's had a tremendous resume. And how much of a role is he going to have in that quarterback room?
Well, Clyde's going to help us tremendously. I mean, a guy with his experience and where he's been, what he's done. We got a great staff. You know, Freddie Kitchen's a new guy too. Obviously, NFL experience. Lonnie Galloway's is really as good a coach as I've been around, especially with the wideouts. Larry Porter, I've coached with before, and then obviously Randy Clemens with the O-line, which is a whole nother animal with those guys. But no, I think Clyde will be very valuable for us. You know, I was able, when I was at Auburn, I had a guy named Al Borges who had been the coordinator there way before I was there, and he came in as an analyst. He was a huge help, especially, you know, you come in on Sunday and he's already previewed the next opponent and got it broken down how you want it. So Clyde will be very, very important from that standpoint for sure.
Coach, how do you improve the physicality of the run game?
Yeah, I think that's where it starts. I think we have to, you know, first of all, you know, we got to make sure that we don't just talk about it, but we actually do it in practice, and that's what we're trying to do now is set the tone. Our run game's a hair different probably than they did last year. We want to be physical. We want to make sure we focus on double teams. We want to get movement at the point of contact and really dent the line of scrimmage. I think that's the key for us. Whatever concept we're running, whether it's inside zone, wide zone, or any kind of our gap scheme, and really just we talk about it every day. You know, it's a physical mindset, and really it's not always just the O-line, the backs, the wideouts blocking, the tight ends. We got to all be on the same page, and we're making progress toward that for sure, and that's something that's really important.
How do you do it with the limitations of how much you can hit and all that in the spring?
Yeah, it's great. That's a great point. You know, and nowadays, you know, back in our day when we all played, you know, you just lined up, ran into each other for 3 hours or whatever, and you can't do that anymore. You're limited on when you can do it. So I think the biggest thing is, you know, teaching them to practice like pros. You know, there's physical teams. You watch the 49ers. You know, they got a physical edge about them. They run downhill, but you know, they're limited even more than we are at that level. So I really think you got to coach it. You got to talk about it. You got to make sure you emphasize it every day. Don't go past that. And I think that's where it starts, and that's the mindset we're looking for.
How would you characterize your offense? Like, what do you want it to look like?
You know, I try not to characterize it in one thing or another. I don't want to put it in a bucket of we're this. Here's where I say is we're going to build it around our players and their strengths and weaknesses. We're going to try not to do those things, you know. And here's the deal. We've been good here in offense already, so I'm not going to just, you know, get rid of everything that we've been good at, okay? But I do think we can add a few things here and there. But at the end of the day, when you have a quarterback like we have who's had success, you know, let's get him to the game and let him do the things that he's comfortable doing and things that we've been good at. But, you know, at the end of the day, we do want to be an 11 personnel and some 12 personnel, be able to run the ball downhill when we want to do it. And then, obviously, if we'll run the ball better and be able to do that, then I think we'll help protect Drake better and hopefully score a whole bunch of points.
Chip, are you guys, it sounds like you guys might be starting over at running back just in terms of, I don't know, hitting the reset button from how you ended last season. Is that a fair thing to say? How would you assess?
Probably not. I don't think so. I mean, we got a room full of guys, I think, that all can play, and we are looking for somebody to step forward and separate themselves a little bit. For me, they're all new, so I'm still learning them. I know more about their number probably right now, but no, it's not true. I know their names, but my point is like I don't think that's what we're for. I think we're here to try to find the best 2 or 3 that give us the best opportunity, and it's a good competition because they're all 4. I think there's 5 that can really play, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to separate themselves, you know. And it's not always just running the ball. Who can execute in pass protection? Who can catch the ball out of the backfield? The best offensive I've had, if you really go back and look, our running backs have been. Sometimes both of them in the top 5 in receptions, but at least one, and that's important to me. I think when you spread people out, you have to space it, and you have to use the running backs to do that. With that becomes getting the protection right with the quarterback, and we're really focused on that right now.
How excited are you for the opportunity you have, you know, with the potential you have with these players and just getting the coach under Matt Brown, being in Chapel Hill, for your coaching career? How exciting is this particular opportunity?
Yeah, extremely excited. I love football. I love coaching football. When I was a high school coach, I loved it, and obviously now in the FBS Division I, Power 5, whatever you want to say. But the opportunity to work for a Hall of Fame head coach, that was extremely attractive. When I was, you know, when we were going through the process, I you know, have obviously admired him from afar. Hall of Fame coach that's won a national championship, that was big. And I've worked for some really good coaches. But then obviously coming to Chapel Hill, just always admired this place. You know, it's just got a kind of an air about it, and we got really smart kids that I think will compete at a high level, and they've proven that. And like Coach says, we're trying to get from good to great. That's our motto. That's what we're trying to do, and working toward that. And these kids will do whatever you ask. All right.
That's good.
All right. Great.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Coach.
Appreciate it, man.